It seems like just yesterday, Lightfall was launching. And here we are in the final week of Season 20. Now, this is going to be a prep guide for the end of the season, as we only have a few days left. Now, keep in mind, for the most part, you don't have to do any of these things. This is just for the player that wants to be extra prepared for Season 21's Underwater Avengers. Now, we're also going to be combining our prep guide with a few things you might want to do this week that you're going to be unable to do next season. Certain activities, getting certain seasonal gear, certain weapons going away. TLDR, please get Rose. I'm just saying, it's leaving. Not trying to hit you with FOMO, but you know. First off though, let's get on how to prepare for next week's season launch. The big thing is, of course, bounty preparation. Usually you want to start bounty hoarding a few weeks before the launch of a new season, but if you haven't started yet, that's okay. There's still time to grind a lot. And for my folks that are trying to get the jump there on XP, this of course matters. Unlocking artifact mods, getting access to more rank ups in the season pass, and there are some great rewards in the season pass, especially in this upcoming season, most notably harmonizers, which will allow us to tune weapons next season. But with that being said, the bounty prep guide video that we made a while back is still relevant to this day. That video goes over everything about bounties in detail, so you know which bounties you want to grab and which ones you want to straight up ignore. To ensure you get the best bang for your buck though, when it comes to XP gains, the short of it is just to prioritize weekly bounties, which these are the sources here: Shohan, Eris Morn, and the Elector of Enchantment, Starhorse, Hawthorne, Varix, Petra, and Nimbus. Now keep in mind, these bounties are substantially more experience. So if you want to prioritize any of the bounties, hit the weeklies first and then worry about the dailies if you're just trying to reach maximum cap of bounties that you can hold. And if you're like, Cross, but we're in the final week here. Listen, yes, we are. However, considering the resources you have there that you can pick up bounties from, this is a possible 54 bounties you can hold across 3 different characters, giving you a huge chunk of experience at the beginning of next season. And in the process, you can be picking up daily bounties at these vendors as you're doing the weekly ones and just kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Now, the other vendors that have daily bounties as well, if you need to grab more, is Drifter, Zavala, Shax, or even the Gunsmith. And these bounties are great if you're hitting any of the playlist activities. Now, there are a lot of different apps you can utilize to actually see which bounties you can grab and of course track. The Destiny Companion app lets you grab bounties directly from your phone. This is super easy, guys, and I highly advise taking advantage of this. This way you don't have to travel directly to these sources to pick up these bounties. There's also a website called DestinyRecipes.com, which is a fantastic site that will literally track all the bounties that you have and which ones you have left to complete. And they have this pre-season checklist system that you can follow. All you have to do is just link your account and boom, you're good, guys. You've got your own personal pre-season checklist of bounties to prep before next week. Now, what you don't want to store is repeatable bounties. Keep in mind, the XP that you get from weeklies are ginormous. Clan bounties are also very, very good. And then the daily bounties. But the weekly bounties are the smallest amount of experience, and we highly advise just not holding those. You also don't want to hold any seasonal bounties or Guardian game bounties, as these have a chance of going away. So make sure you turn those in before Tuesday or they'll likely vanish. Now, when you log in next season, one of the biggest ways you can help yourself is by applying the Blinding Light Ghost mod. This gives you a 12% XP bonus for all sources, and that adds up when you cash in so many bounties. Another way is to make sure you have someone on your fire team who's already leveled up a bit, because you can increase your XP through that fire team XP unlock in the season pass. This is a stacking bonus on top of your ghost mod, and normally one person has to sacrifice their gains, right? Like one person has to go turn in their bounties and reach those season pass unlocks, and then you can join on them. We do have a Discord, guys. I personally wait for somebody to cash in their bounties, reach those unlocks, and then I join on them and cash in my bounties. And normally in this process, like, we're all joining up on the same people, cash in our bounties. You can join up on me if you want, if you happen to be in stream. All that I ask, just like with anything we do, when you join up, and we'll even drop our join code on our stream, when you join up to turn in your bounties, you have to pass that on to the next person, especially if you have the rank up, right? If you reach those rank ups, make sure you let someone else, at least one other person, join up on you so they can cash in their bounties. This is how we're able to hopscotch our way up the season pass, and we share it. Don't just jump in, turn in your bounties, and then bounce like an asshole. So again, grab those weekly bounties for each character along with the dailies to knock out as many as you can before the end of this week. Utilize the companion app and Destiny recipes, and don't store seasonal, repeatable, or Guardian game bounties, and this is going to give you a good head start for Season the Deep. Now, I do want to point out that power and pinnacle caps for next season are not changing. So if you're already at the 1810 pinnacle cap, guys, you're good. Don't worry about it. There'll be no need to grind power next season. Those numbers are remaining the same. However, let's talk about items and currencies. We're finally saying goodbye to the finest matter weave and Rainmaker consumables. Starting in Season 21, these items will no longer drop from any source in the game. In any instance where players would have received a finest matter weave, they will now receive one enhancement core instead. And whenever players would have gotten a drop of a Rainmaker, they will now get 3,000 Glimmer. Furthermore, all existing instances of these items in player inventories can be consumed to directly grant their associated materials. So again, I repeat, all existing instances of finest matter weave can be dismantled for one enhancement core each, and all existing instances of Rainmaker can be dismantled for 3,000 Glimmer. So you have a ton of these stacked up, like lots of us do. Those will actually be a good source of enhancement cores and glimmers over the course of Season 21. There's also a change made recently that altered the amount of Glimmer gains from public events. So stocking up on Glimmer is a lot easier, especially if you're hitting heroic public events. You can get anywhere from like 3,300 to 4,600 Glimmer from a single normal public event to up to 12,500 Glimmer from heroic public events. So knock a few of these out and you're good. Now you also want to stock up on Ascendant Alloys for enhanced weapon crafting. Now this is honestly the resource that I'm constantly grinding for because we like to craft every weapon in the game. These can be attained though from Witch Queen or Lightfall weekly story missions. Now for this week, that is the Downfall mission and the Last Chance mission. Now the higher the difficulty, this results in the higher chance of alloys dropping. Personally, because we like to do this almost on autopilot, we actually just pull people from the stream and do master wellsprings. Do like a couple hour runs, you join up, we get some Ascendant alloy drops. We are going to be doing that tomorrow and Friday, and actually Friday before reset and before trials. No, during that time frame, you're not going to reach the cap of 10 there for Ascendant alloys, but you'll get a few. And personally, I think master wellspring with a half decent team is really easy to run. So if you're looking to find a team for that, you can come by our Discord or you can come by our stream, and we pull a new team about every 3 to 4 runs. Now, if you're still in need of things like Ascendant Shards and Enhancement Prisms, you definitely want to be running the Nightfall this week, although last week was the better option considering it was double loot. However, there is a glitch right now with Lake of Shadows that Cheese Forever just posted. I have not personally done it yet, so we're not 100% certain how easy it is to replicate this, but essentially, at the end of the bridge area, if you have things like Heat Rises or some means of boosting your jump, you can actually hop to the boss room. I know, it's crazy. I didn't even know this existed until Cheese dropped this. We're gonna try replicating it on stream just to see if there's any issues with making this work, although Cheese said that you could still get platinum with this, and you're able to get this done less than 10 minutes, which substantially cuts the time of the strike down, and you get to skip the Tormentor part. Either way it goes, there's a reason why we make videos like we did last week for the Glassway Strike. When you see a thumbnail that's like, yo, double loot, do this now, take advantage of it, guys, especially the double loot portion. That makes for easy stock up on materials. Now let's go over a few things you want to finish up for this week though. Starting with Guardian Games, for all my Titans, you want to make sure you're turning in your medallions. We need to secure victory even for the remaining days. But Cross, we've pretty much already secured victory, and that is exactly how we're gonna lose. And for my Hunters and Warlocks, all you have to do is not play the game. Or if you do play the game, but then go turn medallions in on your Titan class. It's really simple. Now, a huge reason why you do want to bank those medallions is that you can get the Taraxipus or even the Tidal SMG. Personally, the Tidal SMG is one of my favorite SMGs in the game. I know everybody's crazy about Immortal, but in the energy slots, Tidal is very good this year. Now, this is the last week you're going to be able to obtain both of these weapons. Taraxipus, although not my favorite weapon inside of PvP, is still a very good strand weapon inside of PvE. We've done weapon reviews on both of these. I'm a fan of both of these. I'm also a hoarder, so yes, of course I'm going to get the God roll just in case we somehow miraculously end up in a 200 round per minute scout rifle meta. If you're interested in the rolls to be chasing on those, feel free to check out our reviews. You also have the champ title going away at the end of the season, so if you want to lock in that, go right ahead. And also for my folks that have not gotten heir apparent, especially my new players or even the catalysts, you could still get that in Guardian Games this week. Now, on the topic of seals, for my players that like to have those, if you're keeping up with the events over the past year, make sure to finish out the Guardian Games challenge to complete and unlock the Reveler seal, which requires you to have completed the challenge from the last Solstice, Festival of the Lost, and Dawning events. Now, since the season is coming to an end, this is also the last week to gild your Conqueror, Flawless, and Glorious titles. So finish those out if you're working on that. Now, on the topic of Guardian ranks, if you're trying to reach rank 11, you're going to want to finish that out if you're close to it, as next season, everyone will get reset back down to rank 6. But whatever rank you hit this season will be displayed as your previous season's rank. So you're actually still going to be able to show rank 11 status, even though you're going to be dropping down to rank 6. Personally, I still think this is a temporary fix to what could be a perfect system. We even made a video talking about Guardian ranks and how this would be an excellent opportunity for Bungie to finally give us exotic class items. With that being said though, rank 11, if you're looking to flex max that. Lock it in this week, guys. Now, along with Guardian ranks and seals, you want to make sure you've also obtained all the loot that will be going away that is still available this week. Now, this includes reaching rank 100 on the season pass and finishing the seasonal challenges for Bright Dust, the Ecliptic Distaff seasonal glaive, and the Gambit Crucible and Vanguard ornaments for it. All obtainable, of course, for ranking up in those vendors. And this week is a perfect week to get those rank ups, as we currently have double reputation gains going on. Also, the Verglass Curve Exotic Bow on the season ranks, you do want to grab that, especially if you like to use Stasis. We made a build called Stasis Curves. It's fantastic. Now, all of these aren't technically going away. They're going to be moved to the exotic kiosk, but the glaive's going to cost 1 Ascendant Shard, 2 Enhancement Prisms, 100 Legendary Shards, and 75,000 Glimmer. And Verglass Curve will cost 1 Ascendant Shard, 200 Legendary Shards, and 100,000 Glimmer, as well as 1 Exotic Cipher. So keep that in mind, guys. If you're looking to save resources, just knock those things out. Now, the big one, the one that is currently crushing my soul, because after all this time, the God Roll has eluded me. The Rose Lightweight Hand Cannon from Competitive is leaving us. This week, you still have an opportunity to get 3 drops, but next season, Rose is being replaced by an Arc Sniper Rifle as the new competitive reward. And although I'm very excited about the Sniper Rifle, this is a very sad day for those of us that never got the God Roll for Rose. Now, if you're wondering, Cross, what is the God Roll? We've actually made a video on this, but the role that I am actually looking for includes Rangefinder, Moving Target, or even Perpetual Motion. You can even throw Rapid Hit in there, or even Elemental Capacitor. There's a lot in that first column that's really, really good. But Rangefinder, we know, is going to get a nerf at some point. I actually think that Bungie is going to slap it pretty hard across the board, which is why I think Explosive Payload is going to be the role to go for. I know we have Opening Shot, Eye of the Storm. A lot of people like those roles. I'm telling you right now, Explosive Payload on Rose, that's S tier. Combine it with any of those traits in that first column, and you're cooking. Well, I say any of those traits. I have Quick Draw, but personally, I'm not that excited about it. But with that being said, believe me when I tell you, this is the best hand cannon in the kinetic slots. Seriously. And I know some of you don't want to believe that. You're like, Cross, but my All-Stringer. Ace of Spades, but round robin. Listen, Rose is the best hand cannon, arguably in the game. And if you do not get that roll now, and I know I am hitting you with heavy FOMO, but I am telling you guys, it is that good of a weapon. And before somebody says, but Fatebringer, no, stop. Rose shits on Fatebringer. Even the godliest time-lost Fatebringer roll out there, Rose still shits on it. So for the love of God, comp, I know it's not everyone's favorite playlist by a long shot. Believe me, as someone who is actually grinding to ascend it solo, I question life during that playthrough. However, if you get the God Roll Rose, it's actually worth all the pain and anguish. On top of that, this is also the last time to get the Ascendant Emblem, which you get for, of course, reaching Ascendant in the comp playlist. This emblem will be changing next season. Now, as far as loot that's already unobtainable, or of course being removed from the loot pools, this includes things like Wisdom Rebuke, Hero's Burden, that's leaving or already left the Iron Banner loot pool. The Inquisitor's Shotgun is also going away, which is the Trials Shotgun. That was this past weekend, as well as the Whistler's Wind Bow. Those are leaving the Trials loot pool. Now, this coming up weekend, the Immortal SMG is actually rotating back in. So for my folks that did not get the God Roll Immortal, if you want to get it right before it gets nerfed, by all means, jump on it. We'll be doing trial carries all weekend long, so feel free to come join us. However, I will say this, the Inquisitor's Shotgun and the Whistler's Wind Bow will be available for Legacy focusing next season. Keep in mind though, not the Adept version. Now the Mindbender's Ambition, as well as the Malicious Birthright Grenade Launcher are leaving the Nightfall loot pool. These cannot be earned, as currently right now, the Swarm Machine Gun in all its glory is what's dropping from this week's Nightfall. Again though, those weapons will be available to be Legacy focused next season. Now Bungie also pointed out in last week's TWAB that you should not forget to check your Engram tracker in your inventory before the end of the season in order to pick up any seasonal Engrams you may have. So it sounds like the Defiance Engrams will be going away. So of course, make sure you grab those, decrypt those. We'll of course be moving probably to Deep Engrams. I know that makes logical sense, but again, burn those before they go. Now, if you're already done bounty prepping and you've got every weapon you want, and you're like, Cross, hit me with something I don't know. Well, currently, or at least what I've been doing, is actually running Grasp of Avarice, as it is farmable this week. So if you're looking to get Matador, Eyes Lunan, or even 1,000-Yard Stare, you can hit those. We were actually doing the first encounter over and over again for Matador drops. Matador is the best PvP shotgun in the game. Like Fracture Shine and Matador are like neck and neck, but Matador is so good. I am looking for a max range opening shot roll, but it has eluded me. I'm almost getting to the point where I think it doesn't exist. Outside of that, you do have Nezrak Challenge for this week's Root of Nightmares. You can get the Trace Rifle from the Master Mode. King's Fall is also the feature raid this week. Inspire the Watcher is moving to the Dungeon Rotator next season. So if you want to hit that up right now, guys, this is your last week to do so. Lastly, if you haven't already, we recommend getting the exotic armor that was released with Lightfall, this being Cadmus Ridge, Pitch, Ambient Leap, Facade, Speedloader Slacks, and even Ballador's Wrathweavers, as well as Swarmers for Warlock. Guys, pick these up. Be looking at Lost Sector rotations this week. See which ones you need. Some of these I already use all the time. Ballador's is one we're going to be using next season with the stasis buff. But yeah, pick them up because next season, you're going to be able to focus these exotic armors for more desirable stat rolls. And the other big reason is so that next season when we jump into the Lost Sectors, we won't be getting old exotics, right? We'll be getting the new Season 21 exotic armor pieces right away. Now, you can also get these exotics, and assumingly the new exotics added next season, from the Vex Incursion Zone on Neomuna, as those drop on a knockout system. So guys, that is our prep guide. Keep in mind, you don't have to do any of these things. Some of these you may have already been doing, but play at your own pace. I'm not trying to hit you guys with FOMO, but at the same time, I want you to be aware of what's staying, what's leaving, and the checklist that we ourselves are following. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.